Margaret?
You have to be quick, don't you? No wonder you're fit.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not very fit at all. The guys this morning on the show were fit if they're going to ride from Alice Springs down to Adelaide.
Oh, I love my little ribbon too. I think it's good to be aware of all this, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, you're too young.
These things. Well, no, not really.
No?
I've actually found lumps and bumps and different things at different times, so you do have to do it regularly. But I think
the first time you go is the hardest, and then you realise it's really not much trouble. Then you go annually or biannually or something, and it's lovely to get that note that says you're okay.
Yeah, definitely worth doing it and saving a life. Could be ours. Now, what are you cooking for us today?
Well, I have a brand new sauce that is thick and delicious, and usually when you think of teriyaki, you think of marinating it in it first, but this one you put on at the end.
Okay.
So we're going to do a couple of fish, and I've cleaned them, I've given them a haircut, trimmed their fins, trimmed their tail.
So they look more presentable.
Open them up, yes, clean them inside, and scale them. And I'm making sure they're extremely dry, because if they're not, they do stick rather. So in my pan, I've got some hot oil, and I'm just going to sear this fish on both sides, and then we'll put some of this lovely mixture, the teriyaki mixture, that has in there also some ginger and some spring onions. And it's so simple. And this mixture is really thick in the pan. Sorry, not in the pan, but in the jar. It's really, really thick. And it can be used as a dipping sauce or a base, or spread on your roast at the end of cooking, or if you're microwaving, spread it on that. So it's very, very useful, and once it's open, it should be kept in the refrigerator. Right. So we're just going to pop those little fish in and colour them up a little bit on each side, spoon over the sauce, put the lid on, and that's a very easy meal. Only takes a few moments.
Too.
A very healthy one, and the kind of fish that you use is your own choice, but I wanted them to be whole fish. I want the head on, but if you don't want the head on, you can buy the fillets and do the same thing with the fillets.
Right.
We'll just bend the tails over and we'll give them a little flick. If the skin comes off, even though you're being very careful to try and avoid that happening, don't worry, because that beautiful sauce is going to cover the lot. So we'll put the sauce on, and we'll give it a couple of minutes, and we're going to have some lovely fish for lunch today.
It doesn't take long to cook.
No, a few minutes each side, so we'll turn the heat down on that, because I've got another lovely thing that we can be doing, and that's the stir fries. And so I've got some oil. Now, I'm not using Bertolli today. I'm going to use one of those international oils with the flavour in, so it could be a pizza oil or it could be a Thai oil. And I'm going to stir fry some green prawns. Got a bit of water in there. So we'll put them in gently until they go pink, or begin to go pink.
They're starting to go pink already.
Yeah, just don't want that water, so we'll give them a stir. There's a good girl. She knows what to do. And don't they change colour quickly? But we mustn't overcook them. So while they're cooking, we'll sprinkle in some spring onions that have been cut into small pieces. And some, I can smell, this is what I could smell, that lovely sauce. And this one is the ginger, and I've shredded that ginger. And ginger and fish are always a perfect accompaniment.
I have to sneeze again, I think, Margaret. The fumes from the cooking always gets to me.
I think it's these oils.
The oils.
Because of the aromas in them, and they really do come up. Now, broccoli can be put in from raw, but I find it easier with stir fries to just put it into the microwave first and lightly cook it. And then you don't have to wait for a long time for the stems to cook all the way through. Now, the very important thing at the end, of course, is the teriyaki thick sauce from Kikkoman, and I've got some water in with it as well. And we'll put that in and toss it around, and maybe even add a little bit more till we get it just right. So this sauce, this thick sauce, goes well with seafood, with chicken, with anything at all. And it's just so easy, and it's got all those wonderful flavours that we know from the Kikkoman quality.
Literally cook that in about a minute and a half.
And you could use any fish or chicken, or beef or lamb. But it is looking gorgeous.
It certainly is, looking delicious. And lots of colour too, and you could put other vegetables in there, I suppose,
you want
if you wanted to as well.
Face that around that way.
Patrick wants to do, lift it up. How's that?
We're doing it right?
Getting it right there. Look at that.
Yeah. Do you think we've got it just about right?
It's just about cooked.
Or do you think a little bit of teriyaki? It's surprising with such a dark sauce, but it's really just loaded with wonderful taste and flavour.
You save you actually needing to thicken that because the sauce is so
you don't
thick
have
already.
to. Yeah. That's right. And to paint it on the roast at the end of cooking time, or even you know, turkey at Christmas when you want that little extra flavour and colour. So let's pile some in there, but I'll do that while we'll go back.
To take most of the fish out?
Well, no, that one has to be turned over and cooked on the other side. And if you lift that one, yes, we'll turn him over and cook him on the other side. Now, this is lunch for one, do you think? Oh, it's a big bowl.
I think so.
I think we'll soon disappear this one. Put a little bit of, thanks, Mum. Thanks, Mum. And put the lid back on and just let that continue on. And over here, we have the finished result.
Oh, yes, we have the finished result.
We have, and we're going to serve that. Now, be very careful of your gorgeous green soup.
I'm careful of not breaking the fish.
We'll put our little fish on a platter.
That one there.
And pour over some of the luscious sauce and just serve it with a bowl of rice. And they're very easy meals using the most marvellous sauce that's just come on the market.
The Kickerman sauce. And if you'd like a copy of Margaret's recipes today, you can write to Adelaide Today, Post Office Box 621 North Adelaide. For the fish and for the prawns, and that looks delicious. And will you save some for lunch for me?
I will, I promise.
Thank you, Margaret.
Thanks,
We'll have a look at the major prize and then we'll spin the wheel.